I've got no special intro this week because I'm somehow not in a coma after watching 6 hours of WWE programming in 2 days. So let's get into this thing. I don't care what anyone says. Lesnar versus Strowman versus Kane is money, and it's gonna make for a damn good match. I mean, really, do I have to say anything more than that? You have one of the greatest special attractions in the history of the business in Lesnar, one of the greatest big men in the business in Kane, and the hottest new big man in the business in the ring, all at the same time. And yes, the predictable outcome would be to have Kane lose so that Lesnar and Strowman don't have to, but don't overanalyze for this one. It's just gonna be a hell of a match, you know it is, and I can't wait to see it. Seth Rollins defeated Jason Jordan in a singles match, although he had been scheduled to face Samoa Joe, but he faced Jordan instead after Jordan came out and said, "I've been asking my dad for a match against him for weeks and he hasn't given it to me." And Rollins told him, "Look, you're a good kid, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but this isn't your time." And what does the dickish Jordan do? He sucker punches him so that Rollins will take him on in order to earn the privilege of facing Joe, which, if you ask me, isn't exactly a great reward because I was getting your ass whooped by Joe a reward. But anyway, the match was good, and although Jordan lost, he looked as good as he always has when he's faced the top talent, and Joe ended up taking them both out after Rollins beat Jordan, and he walked away looking like the badass that he is. And then after the match, Kurt Angle made a 6-man tag match between Ambrose, Rollins, and Jordan versus The Bar and Joe, which I guess is about as good as you can get because we've only seen The Bar and Rollins and Ambrose face each other a million times by now. Bray Wyatt cut the same promo that he's been cutting for like half a decade. There wasn't even any Woken Hardy to help him out. Fuck this nonsense. When Finn Balor's music hit, I thought, alright, what random match is he gonna be on this week? And sure enough, they put him in a handicap match against Dallas and Axel, because I guess you've gotta change it up after you've beaten them both individually, and they eventually got the upper hand on him and beat him up until they got disqualified, and then Hideo Itami ran down to help him out. And the match was restarted as a tag team match, and Balor and Itami won, of course, and that's that. I feel bad for Finn because of how mishandled he's been for a while now, and I feel bad for Itami for having made his debut like this the way he did. I remember how hot he was a few years ago on NXT, and he lost all his steam due to the various injuries he's had. But I digress, because at least he's doing something again now, and hopefully he's happy to finally be on the main roster. Cedric Alexander defeated Drew Gulak, and a piece of me died inside because Gulak cracks me the hell up, and he's a good performer, but Cedric is also damn good, and they put on a great match together. So props to both men, and to Enzo for talking all the usual shit that he likes to talk whenever he's near a microphone. And I felt sorry for Gulak in that segment he had backstage with Nia and Enzo, because damn, the man looked worse for wear, all red and sweaty and bloodied as he was, and it was just good stuff. Hopefully the Cruiserweight division continues on this slow but steady trend upwards. Asuka won in her match against Alicia Fox, no surprise there, but the real kicker here is how badly I wanted to shove steel nails into my fucking ears while Booker T kept on rambling on and on about the stupid shit that he rambles on and on about every week. The match was already gonna be tough enough to enjoy because we've already seen it before and we already knew the outcome, and having Booker on commentary sure as fuck doesn't help the situation. I was gonna say that I enjoy listening to Graves and Cole crap all over him sometimes, like they did in this case, but I'd rather that they all talk about the damn match instead, and we didn't get that. The 6-man tag team match was a good match, and although Ambrose, Rollins, and Jordan put up a damn good fight, they ended up losing to the tag champs and Joe. And not only that, but Joe and The Bar beat the hell out of Rollins and Ambrose some more backstage, while Ambrose was getting his arm checked out by a doctor, with Cesaro and Sheamus ramming Rollins' head into a brick wall, and Joe slammed an equipment crate shut right down on Ambrose's injured arm. It was aggressive, it was violent, and I dug it. Sooner or later, Rollins and Ambrose are gonna get them back for it. You know it. The Revival are back! Holy shit, it feels like it's been a lifetime since they were last seen on the main roster. It's good to know that both men are now healthy enough again to finally return and do what they're so good at. Their return should have been treated as a bigger deal, and instead, they try to convince us during their return match that we should care about what Titus, Apollo, and Dana are doing together. Come on now, really? Who is gonna buy that, exactly? Oh, and Rhino and Slater were the Revival's opponents, and they had a quick little segment backstage with Kurt, in which Kurt told them to step their game up, and if this means that they're gonna get more TV time in the future, then I'm all for it! SmackDown's managed to feature 6 different tag teams this past week alone, while Raw only tends to feature the same 2 over and over, and that could, and should, definitely change. Matt Hardy talked to a goldfish this week. Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I had completely forgotten that the women were gonna be featured later on in the show, and it was a rehash of last week. There was a match, but it quickly ended, and Absolution started beating everyone up until Nia Jax came up, and she was big showing the 3 of them, but they eventually got the upper hand on her too, and then the rest of the women ran down again to make the save, and shortly after that, Stephanie McMahon's music hits and she walks down and all of the women just stopped fighting each other. Just like that, as if they hadn't been fighting in the first place. And not only that, but Stephanie walks into the ring and all the women just line up next to each other for the camera, with Stephanie front and center, of course, and everything's rainbows and sunshine. And that was just weird. And then it turns out that the reason Stephanie was there was to announce the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, which is awesome, but they really could have done this some other way that wasn't so goddamn odd and made a bit more sense. And that was Raw this week. There were a few nice surprises, like Itami's debut and the return of the Revival and the triple threat match for the Universal title being officially announced, and the Cruiserweight seemed to be in a slow but steady upward trend that'll hopefully continue in the weeks and months to come. What did you think of the show this week? Let me know in the comments and hit a shatter machine on that subscribe button. And if you enjoy 20 by 20, consider supporting the channel on Patreon at www.patreon.com/20 by 20. But until then, this was this week's Raw edition of the show, and I hope to catch your ass here for the SmackDown episode.